14th of September, Rabbi Moore, Parsha, Hashavua, Ha'azinu.
Okay. Right. We have two people on observer status. Okay. Where are we up to? Pasuk Hey, I believe.
That's where my note is.
Right. Pasuk Hey. We've done some of the Rashis. Not all of them.
Yeah, we did the blemishes as children's.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we're up to the Rashi. Dor Ikesh of a Saltoy.
Okay, Dor Ikesh, a crooked generation. Ikesh means akum ukal.
Ukal means
bent and crooked.
Warped and akum means warped, bent.
It's
as it says, the events Kemoi, there's Kol HaYeshara. Yeah. Right. And everything straight, Ya'akeshu, will become bent. Right. Ubeloshen HaMishnah.
Mishnah.
You can find the Loshen in the Mishnah as well.
In the language
Chulda, which refers to a weasel.
A weasel. Shineha akmos
va'akushos,
whose teeth are bent and crooked.
Yeah. Don't know why it actually uses a double expression of akumos va'akushos. Now, Kopan and Rashi bring a proof in there that ikesh, akushois, is a similar concept to akumos. And akum means bent. Okay.
Ufit sal tol, twisted.
Yeah.
And tortillas.
Ontortilles. I don't know exactly what the present day French means. Verdreht, geschlenkt. Means twisted, as you said.
There, this is like thread. Shegodlin oso, which one twines it.
Well, he twines it, godlims, which you twine, or makifin also,
makifin oso, and one twists. Sevivos hagedil, around a strand.
Saltol min hatevos hakefulos. The word pisaltol is double.
It's from the, as it comes from the root. The root of the word is that it uses it like the second and third root letter are repeated. For saltoil, really the root is pei tof lamed, and then the infinitive takes saltoil. Is you repeat the last two root letters. Kamoy yarak, which means a deep green, or adam dam, a deep red. Schachar, segalgal. Schachar means round. Skalgal is also means round and like a ball shaped.
My English says char means utterly anguished.
I'm sorry?
My English says that char means utterly anguished. And it quotes Rashi on Psalm 38:11.
Schachar, what does that mean? A person is, you use this in Ivrit nowadays. Schachoret means dizziness, because that's what happens when you go round and round, right? Then you get dizzy. Okay, so sachar means around, right? And schachar is like an intense around this, spinning, in other words. Schachar means, it really means like spinning. Let me check up the Rashi in Tehillim. 1 second. Oh, sorry. $38. In 38, did we say?
38:11.
Libi scharchar, azovani koichi. My heart is scharchar. So that Rashi says, mukaf yogoin, it is surrounded with sorrow. V'zeu mitevet hakfulas k'ma yirakrak adam dam skalgal, chamar moru. So Rashi says it also means it's surrounded. Libi scharchar means, Rashi explains it's not just feeling sorrowful, it's like completely enveloped in sorrow. Or yes, you're going, yeah, the sorrow is the right word. Depression.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what Rashi means. That's char, means it's surrounded. The Lashon sachar, it means round. So in Aramaic, soviv, the round, that's schor. It's called round and round. That's where we have. So here, schachar, it's intense aroundness, means it's totally surrounded and enveloped with this feeling of yogoin, of grief and sorrow. Okay, let's continue. Steve, you are muted. Can you please unmute?
What Parsha?
We are Pasuk Vov.
Vav in Nitzavi. Okay.
Hazinu, Perek Lamed Beis.
Right. Okay. Pasuk Vav. Okay. Okay. Vanikach et Artzam.
Wait. Hello. Parshas Hazinu.
I'm in the wrong place. Okay. Vav.
Chapter 32. Perek Lamed Beis.
Yeah. Oh, here we are. Ali Hashem.
Hal Hashem. Okay, this is a very interesting word. The Minchas Shai, who's basically is a guide to us to how to pronounce words. He explains it as follows. It's written as the Hey by itself and Lashem as a separate word. That's how it's written in the Torah. Okay. However, he explains that the way you pronounce it is as if it was one word. And therefore, you pronounce it Hal Hashem. Well, if you pronounce it properly, I'm not going to actually pronounce the full. Hal Adoi. Because if it's written as one word, I mean, it's pronounced as one word, then it comes out that even if it was, let me explain as follows. Were it to be enunciated as a separate word, then even though the lamed has a shva underneath it, but since the following under the aleph of adoi, right, is a patach, so instead of saying le'ad, le'ah, we would have said la. So it would have pronounced ha, la, doi. It says in Minchas Shai, you don't pronounce it that way because it's read as one word. And therefore, it's read word, it's hal, and the shva under the lamed is silent. It's a shva nach. And then you read the name of Hashem, Adoi. Hal Adoi. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Hal Adoi, and then Noi. Okay? So anyway, Hal Hashem Tigmul Uzois. Right, and Rashi says it's an expression of not rhetoric really. It means a question. The hay is indicating a question. Is it to Hashem Tigmul Uzois that you contribute this
way, something like that?
This form of behavior?
I'm Naval. A people.
Foolish people.
Huh?
I'm novel. Novel means foolish. In the sense of it. I'm novel veloy chacham.
Hello, who Abicha Necha? Is he not your father that possessed
one who acquired you? The one who acquired you? Who asachav?
Who asachav yach no necha?
Vayachoyne necha. Right. We'll see. He made you vayachoyne necha and formed you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little thrown off. I'll tell you why. Here, Klal Yisrael, I thought they had reached the pinnacle of tzidkus, of righteousness at this point. They're going into Eretz Kodesh, and they're being lambasted all the time. Maybe
I understand, but this is a warning to future generations who are not going to act as they should.
Okay, so it's not being aimed at Klal Yisrael that's standing in front of Hashem, but rather future generation. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Rashi. Hello, Tigma Lu. Rashi says this is a luscious tema of astonishment. The Chil for now and CV. Since in front of me you're causing
are you in a way daring to anger the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Is how you behave towards Hashem?
It seems that the message is being aimed at the people who are standing there. Sheyesh b'yado Liparam michem. It's in his power to punish you. Shehetiv lachem.
Chala Tovos, in other words, so there's two things. So Rashi's pointing out two things. First of all, people should be aware when they're disobedient to Hashem, they should be aware of two things. First of all, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the power to punish them. One is that. And in addition, it's gross ingratitude. Kosh Baruch Hu did so much good for you, and he did so many favors and showered upon you goodness, and yet this is how you respond by being so disobedient to Kosh Baruch Hu.
Yeah, and I'm totally thrown off. Why now? Like the next Rashi, I'm Navel, a base of disgusting people.
No, novel. Excuse me. Novel does not mean disgusting. It may mean so in Ivrit, but in classical Hebrew, novel means foolish.
He translates it here as base, B-A-S-E, but okay. Shechachachu et sui lahem. That they've forgotten what Hashem did for them.
Right.
But the people who are standing there in front of Moshe, they haven't forgotten.
Again, I'm saying this song is not addressed to the people over here.
Okay.
It's addressed to the future generations who, chas v'shalom, will be disobedient to Hashem.
Lo chacham, and they don't have wisdom.
Right.
Lehavin et
Han oilodos. What's going to happen? Future events.
To understand place.
Sorry?
Would that mean to understand what has taken place, something like that?
Or what's going to be in the future? They should understand what's going to result of the bad deeds. They should understand. In other words, they're unwise, they're acting unwisely, and they're not understanding and contemplating what's going to be the result of their bad deeds. Sheyesh biyado laheitiv v'lahara. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he has the power to do good, and conversely, to do bad, to do evil, to do bad to them, to punish them.
Right. Okay. I'm just
Hello?
I have a hard time with all the punishments. Oh,
Right.
Alohu avicha agacha? Is he not your father who made you, possessed you?
Right, the one who acquired you.
Acquired you? Okay. Shekana acha. Shekana necha. Oh wow! He possessed you. Now I'm not. He
Well, we see, one is Shekinah, Kosh Baruch Hu acquired you. Okay, because it says that, what's the lesson of Pasuk? Hashem Kononi Reishis Darkoi. Right? Kosh Baruch Hu acquired us as his people. No, actually, it's referring to that. Hashem Kononi Reishis Darkoi, it's referring to the Torah, actually. But what does Rashi say at the beginning of Bereshis? Kosh Baruch Hu acquired us to be his people. Okay? Now, that's one shot. Konecho means he acquired you. Shekonoacha. One explanation. Shekinencho b'kan hasloim u'be'eretz chazok. Second explanation means the Kosh Baruch Hu
Yeah, cage, isn't it?
nested you. Kosh Baruch
Nest.
Hu put you in a nest. Okay, Shekinencha, he nested you, Bekan Hasloi, in the nest of the rocks, Uberetz Chazaka, and in a strong land, meaning Akash Baruch Hu brought you into a land, or he's talking about after they already entered the land, right? The Akash Baruch Hu is telling them, I brought you to a good land, a strong land. It means a land you can be protected in. You can be,
Tikana.
right, and then the third explanation is Tikencha b'chol minei takonach. He's a Kodesh Baruch Hu, how do you say, formed you, or he fixed you with all kinds of, in the proper, desirable way. It means a Kodesh Baruch Hu, he says Pshat over here. Means he set, Kodesh Baruch Hu set you up as a people in the most desirable way. Okay? Who asacha?
Yeah, okay. Who asacha Uma ba'umo? And he made you a nation among the nations.
Right?
V'yikonecho, and he set you up. Achreken, afterwards, b'kol minei basis v'chein. With every kind of setting up or foundation.
Now, a cane, Rashi is going to say, is a support, a base. So Vayachoyne Necha means Achrei Kain, means after he set you up as being a people, Vayachoyne Necha, he means he gave you a solid grounding. Achrei Kain, B'chol Minei Bosis V'chein. Means he set you up, he set up the people to be a people in a proper, established and solid way. And then as Rashi goes on to explain, Mikem Kohanim, Mikem Nevi'im, and Mikem Malachim.
Some of you are Kohanim, Mikem Nevi'im, some of you are prophets, Mikem Malachim, some of
you are kings. But each one, the Kohanim, the priests, and the Nevi'im, and the kings are all part of the, should we say, the equation of the Jewish people, meaning that the Jewish people is rich in talent, not just talent, but in personalities, that's the right word. That some of the Jewish people are Kohanim, some are Nevi'im, some are Malachim, some are lawyers, some are accountants, some are doctors, right? I mean, you would say the similar kind of thing. But here, obviously, we're talking about in a ruchnius, more in the spiritual way, that we have all the, how shall I say it? All the requirements to provide the services for the people that they should be properly provided for. Means both physically and spiritually. Krach shakol tolibo.
a city in which everyone goes in, something like that.
Or shakol tolibo, it means a little bit different.
Krach is a city, a town.
Right. What does it mean shakol tolibo? Means everybody's depending on it. It has all services. It has all the requirements for people.
Very poetic. Wow.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure though why is it brought in over here. But anyway, okay. That one thing I want to point out over here. Yeah. Oh yeah, that one I want to point out as follows. The Maisa, it's actually an interesting point. The Maisa, the Vilna Gaon says this in a number of places. A person is basically made up, has three realms in his life. Himself, ben Adam la'atzmai, between his interaction between him and God. That's ben Adam la'koinoi, and his how you say his koinoi, his master. And there's ben Adam la'chaveiroi, person's interaction with others. Okay? Now, corresponding to that, we have three pillars on which the Torah stands, or the world stands. Ala Torah, Ala Avodah, Val Gemilas Chasadim. Torah is basically a handbook for a way a person can develop himself to be a perfect human being. It's true, it involves a certain extent of Ben Adam Lamakom and also Ben Adam Lachaveiroi. But the main purpose of the Torah is to provide a person a handbook that he can be, if he fulfills all the requirements of what the Torah demands of him, he will be a perfect human being. That is what basically what the Torah is. So basically the Torah, purpose of the Torah is to give the person the wherewithal to be, he can make himself, he develop himself to be an Adam HaMushlam. Between him and himself, he is a complete person. That is Torah. Avodah, which means serving Hashem, obviously that's between Adam Lamokim. And Gemilas Chasadim, doing kindness to others, obviously that's a nomenclature from all types of Ben Adam HaChaveira. Doing good to others, being kind to others, and obviously not harming him and not damaging them. Okay? Now, similarly, you have we say in the Sana Tokef, at the end of the Sana Tokef, we mention both on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, mention all how should we say, not just the solemnity of the day of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that everything is going to be decided on that day. Mi kama yavun, kama yiboreon, mi yachye, mi yamus, everything, right? And we say after that, utshuva, utfila, utstaka, ma'avir nesreagze. Three things can rectify and make good the chas v'shalom, if there's been a decree, a bad decree against an individual or the Jewish people as a whole. Three things help to rescind the decree: tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah. Now, tshuva means a person repents. What does that mean? He corrects himself. That's corresponding to a person in himself, between man and himself. That's tshuva. Tefillah is a person's interaction with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? And tzedakah is a person's interaction with his fellow men. So those three things, a person improves and corrects himself in those three realms: Torah, by doing tshuva; Ben Adam Lamokim, by being tefillah, by praying sincerely that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should judge us and give us a good year; and by doing tzedakah, by being generous and giving charity to others. So that's Ben Adam Chaveira. In those three realms, that's how we can, should we say, rescind any bad decree against us, and thereby we'll have Kadosh Baruch Hu will judge us for a good year. Anyway, this also develops a number of things. The Marshal, we see there's three cardinal sins. Okay? There's Avodah Zarah, Gilu Arayos, and Shvichas Domim. Avodah Zarah means idol worship. That is the total opposite of serving Hashem. Interaction between man and God. Avodah Zarah is the total opposite, antithesis of that. Gilu Arayos, okay, is the total antithesis of Ben Adam HaChaveiro. A person should be kind and goodness to others, but if his concept of love or kindness, shall we say, to others becomes warped, that the result is immorality. And the third thing, if a person in his development of himself becomes so egoistic that he can do away with all his opponents and anybody who stands in his way, that's murder. That's the total antithesis of a correct, perfect person's development. He's taking his ego the wrong way. Okay? So now here, what I wanted to point out over here, we have here, again, Rashi mentions, Mikem Kohanim, Mikem Nevi'im, and Mikem Melachim. These three, each one has served a separate purpose. The purpose of the Novi was to guide the person in his own personal development. He was like an intermediary between a person and Hashem. Hashem would instill in a Novi the power to guide each individual in his correct way of serving Hashem and his particular, each individual, shall we say, individual package. That's not the right word, but individual form of serving Hashem. The Nevi'im were to guide the person, David Torah, and each person in his own individual realm, individual way of serving Hashem. Kohanim were the intermediaries of the Avodah. Okay, to know it's in the way of serving Hashem, meaning as far as Avodah, bringing korbanos, which is what the time of the Beis Hamikdash was the main way where we served Hashem, we worshipped Hashem, and afterwards, when the Beis Hamikdash no longer exists, we have tefillah instead. But the purpose of the Avodah Beis Hamikdash was when Adam Lamokim, a person could create a connection and a communication with Hashem. And Mechem Melachim, the purpose of the main purpose of the king was to be the leader of the Jewish people with regard to the Gashmias, the materialism, or shall we say the material needs of the Jewish people, which is basically, he was the super Baltstocker, right? He was the purpose of the king was to provide for all the needs of the Jewish people. When that is, in other words, he was giving charity and taking care of chesed to all his subjects. So those are them, just saying, those are the three realms as well. Kohanim are like for avodah. Mikem Nevi'im, to per person can perfect himself through the Torah and knowing, having guided which particular path in Torah he should take. Mikem Melachim was the Melech was in charge of the Milas Chasodim. Okay? Very good. Okay, let's go on to Pasuk Zayin. Meir.
Okay, Zachor Yemot Olam Binu Shinot Dor Vador She'alavicha V'yagedecha Zekenecha V'yomru Lach. What's this? Remember the days of the
days
world?
of yore.
Oh,
Okay.
days of yore.
Grace Olam means the days of years of Olam means days gone by, days of yore. Yore.
Okay, and then it says, understand the years of the generation.
Each generation. So that's going to be more definitive about which generations we are referring to.
Okay, and then ask your father, and he will tell you.
The Kenecha, your elders, the Yom Rulacha, and they will also, they will say to you, they will tell you as well what happened in previous generations.
Wow. Okay, Rashi, Zechor Yemot Olam. Remember the days of yore. Me asa barishonim shehisu lefanav. So let's see what he did.
Me asa barishonim. What HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to the earlier generations, that they angered him, they angered the Kosh Baruch Hu.
Oh, that's Ikisu. Oh,
So
okay.
what are the Kosh Baruch Hu's response was and what he did to them? As the Rashi is going to say in the next one, next Rashi.
Okay. Dor Enosh, or the generation of Enosh, Shehetzif Alehem Me Okyanus. Okyanus.
Right? He engulfed them with the waters of the ocean.
Oh, wow.
It says there was a shall we say, not a mini flood, but it didn't compare to the great flood at the time of Noach, but already in the time of Enosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent the world a major warning and saying, watch out, I see where you're heading. Now, Enosh was the son of, it was a grandson of Adam.
Oh, okay.
Enosh was the son of Cain, obviously, yeah. Enosh was the son of Cain.
Oh, okay.
Now, when it says when it says in the generation of Enosh, I believe this only happened at the end of the lifetime of Enosh, which was quite a way. If I don't remember exactly, just 1 second. Enosh. Yeah, here. Enosh was born when Adam was 235 years old.
Oh.
Adam, when he bore Enosh was the son of Shes. Shes was 130 years old. Okay? Adam was 130 years old when Shes was born. And then when Shes was 105 yeyears old, Pasuk says, so when Enosh was born, Adam was 235 years old. But it says, 807 years. So that means it was 1,000 when he died, was in the year 1042. So when exactly this happened, Bimei Enosh, that the world was engulfed, it says 1/3 of the world was engulfed with a flood. So I'm not sure exactly when this was, but anyway. Yeah. The Dor Mabul Sheshotvam, and the generation of the flood, which is the time of Noach, they completely swept them away. That's Dor Vador, these two generations, the generation of Enosh and the generation of the flood. Now, there's one more thing. You haven't paid attention to what happened in the past. Shnois Dovidor is not referring to the past, but to the future. Understand the years of future generations. The Kosh Baruch Hu can do the ultimate good to you and bring you and give to you the days of Mashiach and Olam Haba. I think I'll have to stop here. Tomorrow I'm not going to be able to give share, so I wish everybody a Gemach Sima Tova.
Okay.
And
Rabbi, when is your next class?
So I'm glad you asked me that question, right? as the politicians say. I don't think I'll be able to do it between Yom Kippur and Sukkot either. So I think we'll meet after Sukkot, which the Chayra should be.
The 29th of September.
Hold on, I'll give you where are we up to. Today is the 14th. Simchas Torah is on the